If you've ever played video games, there's just something amazingly appealing about setting up the computer for a serious ass kicking. Finding the most lopsided matchup, setting the difficulty as low as possible, and then absolutely crushing the CPU in the ultimate FU to the programmers and the entire world. But when beatdowns like this happen in real life, especially in a sport like hockey, well, it's just amazing. Except there isn't a CPU involved here, just really unfortunate human beings getting the tar kicked out of them for an allotted amount of time in which there is no friendly quit option. Hell, these poor people couldn't even turn off their Xbox and walk away. If you think what you did to the computer is bad, you're about to learn today what a real ass whipping in hockey is. And boy, it isn't pretty. Number 5. March 3rd, 1920, the Montreal Canadiens versus the Quebec Bulldogs. The NHL has been around for a long time, since 1917 to be exact, but the record for most goals by one team in a single game was set in only its third year, a record that has lasted 96 years. On March 3rd, 1920, the Montreal Canadiens met up with the Quebec Bulldogs, a team that was playing in its first year in the NHL. The Bulldogs were a little banged up, but they were a decent team. Problem was their tendy, Frank Brophy, was nursing a bad stilt, and Montreal took advantage of them like a ballpark selling you a $16 beer. Didier Petrie started the scoring off. Then after his mate scored, he potted 2 more and scored a hat trick in the first period. Then his buddy Newsy Lalonde was like, fuck that, let me show you how it's done, and scored 4 non-consecutive goals of his own. The Habs had built a 12-1 lead, and they were far from done. Quebec would sneak 2 past Georges Vezina, yes, that George Vezina, in a failed comeback attempt as Montreal finished it off with their 16th goal with 1:33 left in the game, when Harry Cameron smacked in his 4th goal and told his boy Newsy to step off 1920 gangsta style and then dabbed on the Bulldogs. When the dust, and oh I mean dust, settled, the final score was 16-3, a 13-goal ass whipping that would make Negan proud. Still the record for goals by one team in a game. 3 players had hat tricks, and amazingly only 5 total players accounted for all of these 16 goals. What a bunch of selfish dicks. But this win wasn't the largest margin of victory ever in an NHL game. That came in my next one. Number 4, January 23rd, 1944, Detroit Red Wings versus the New York Rangers. Deep into World War II, the Red Wings and the Rangers met up one cold January day on the frozen ice of Olympia Stadium in Detroit. The Red Wings scored only 2 goals after the first period. All seemed normal. And then maybe somebody turned on the ice tilt as the Red Wings lit it up with 5 goals in the second, taking a 7-0 lead. Some Ranger must have called them a bunch of cocksuckers, because then the Red Wings got pissed and inserted 8 more pucks into the Rangers' cage. It could have been worse, but the target the Rangers put between the pipes, Ken McCauley, actually made 43 saves on top of the 15 he let in. The Rangers could only muster 9 goddamn shots themselves, and they took a donut home on the bus with them back to New York, the recipients of the biggest shutout loss and biggest loss margin in the history of the NHL, a record still standing a shit ton of years later. All in all, 10 players scored for the Wings, who understand what sharing is, unlike those puck-hogging Canadians, with only one guy, Sid Howe, scoring a hat trick, which he did in the last 8 minutes of the game. I bet it was him they called a cocksucker. Now that we've got the NHL out of the way, we're getting into ridiculous territory, as this next game is going to blow your freaking mind. Number 3, February 12th, 1949, Team Canada versus Team Denmark, the World Ice Hockey Championship opening round. In 1946, the Danes had just started their international hockey program, and 3 years later they would debut in their first international tilt against Team Canada at the official IIHF World Hockey Championships of 1949 in Stockholm, Sweden. Talk about your shitty luck. The Sudbury Wolves were actually representing Canada that year, and I guess they really wanted to anal bang a team in the first round, and that's pretty much exactly what happened as they dropped 47 goals into the twine, and I'm assuming they're nuts and whatever else they wanted to in there. 47 freaking goals. Apparently the Danes never ever got the puck past the Canadian red line the entire game. Every member of Team Canada scored a hat trick. And you get a hat trick, and you get a hat trick. Jim Russell led the squad with 8 goals. Next guy on the list is his brother Tom, who had 6. Apparently, Team Canada coach Max Silverman was a fan of World Star, as he was maniacally screaming from the sidelines, "Kill them! Kill them!" and refused to let up. I wonder at what time did he not feel his point was made? Was it after goal number 34? Perhaps it was goal 40 that he felt like that was enough. Nope, he went hard in the paint. Apparently it was so bad, the fans started taking action as to whether or not they would top 50. The Danish goalie, Flemming Jensen, was in net for all 47 goals. And he swore up and down he should have stopped at least 3 of them. Ah, Flemming, you're the guy who loses 8-1 in Hut and sends a message to your opponent that it was ice tilt that caused that L. And now the beatdowns are somehow going to get way worse. Number 2, September 9th, 2008, Bulgaria versus Slovakia, women's hockey Olympic qualifier. You gotta leave it to the women sometimes to show the boys how things are done, and this blowout was done proper, like mind-blowingly proper. So in 2008, the Bulgarians decided they wanted to send a team of women to the upcoming 2010 Olympics. Starting their squad only a year before, they took the ice against the established and well-trained Slovakian women's team in front of 37 spectators in Latvia. And what a treat those 37 people got. Not only did they not have to wait in line to take a piss, but they also got to see the poor Bulgarian women's team get outshot 139-0 and have 82 goals scored on them. 82 fucking goals. That is a goal every 44 seconds. If you wondered what that looked like, take a peek. And that's what that looked like. I have to imagine that the Slovakians saw this coming when they noticed a couple of the gals on the Bulgarian squad couldn't actually skate. The chair of the Bulgarian Hockey Federation, Dobromir Krustev, called the game a mockery. No shit, Dobes. Your team lost 82-0. The Slovakian coach simply called the game training. What the hell were you training for? Killing a herd of walkers? Slovakian Janka Kulikova scored 10 goals and Martina Velichkova potted 9. 14 out of their 18 skaters scored, which leads me to wonder what the hell those other 4 skaters were doing not to score in a game where your mates dropped in 82 freaking goals. And somehow, against all thought and logic, this was not the worst beatdown in hockey history. Oh, that one is reserved for a very special day. Number 1, March 15th, 1998, South Korea versus Thailand, IIHF Asian Oceanic U18 Junior Championship. This one hurts me personally. My mom is from Thailand, I am half Thai, and the things our culture is known for is big smiles, beaches, spicy food, a friendly culture, and extreme hit. Do not comment, ladyboys. I swear I will block you. So having been to Thailand twice in my life, let me tell you, there aren't many ice rinks in the country. There isn't much ice in the country, period. That place will leave you panting and wanting to drink tons of water, and that's just the food I'm talking about. We don't play hockey in Thailand. So why in the fuck would we put a team on international ice? Not only a team, but a U8 team. I guess they figured keeping it under adult age would prevent a death on the ice. And on March 15th, 1998, in their first game, that's figuratively what happened. In their opening game, they faced eventual tourney winner South Korea, a developed nation that probably has more ice rinks than 0. And this got ugly fast. Here is the first period box score, which I found on Reddit. So you see there, the South Koreans begin to beat the shit out of the Thais and never let up. I like how the Thai coach changes goalies 3 times in a period in which the other team scores 36 times. Sometimes you just need a spark, you know. Song Dong-hwan scores 11 goals in the period and would go on to score 31 total, a third of his team's output. I mean, the guy is basically the Korean Connor McDavid, as he is given the nickname the Asian Rocket. Same nickname my wife gave me. Check him out doing other squads. Nasty here. And so, as the third period ended, the South Koreans stood over their defeated prey. An ass whipping so epic it stands in the annals. Is it annals or annals? In the annals of history, having slayed the Thai U18 team 92-0. I mean, holy fuck. Like, you couldn't even do that in NHL 17 if you turned off all the rules and put together a team of all 99s versus all zeros. Trust me, I tried it and I only scored 40. 92-0. It hurts so much. All of Thailand mourned that day. They said to each other, "Mi hockey team mai, mi hockey team mai nakap," which means in Thai, "We have a hockey team." Well, I hope you learned something today. Leave a like, comment, or subscribe for more videos like this. And as always, I'm 5 Points Gaming, and you made it to the end of this video.